welcome everybody. Welcome to the fifth episode of Doug's Dugout for season four. And once again, in the co hosting chair, I've got Mr. Doug Blunt back once again for a fifth episode. Doug, welcome back.
Hey, glad to be back, Danny. It's been a busy week.
I know it has. Definitely, it's been a good week. The All Star game happened last night. Can you give us a little bit of highlights as to how this all started this week?
Yeah, it went back to Atlanta. Atlanta was supposed to have it like 4 years ago, but politically it was incorrect to have it there, and so they moved to the Colorado, and so now they brought it back, and they had a plethora of events there, probably more than I've ever seen in Atlanta. There was all the merchants all signed up for it and everything, so it was a big money maker for the city of Atlanta, and they kind of stacked the roster with quite a few Braves on it that probably didn't entitled to an all star, but they're on there anyway, so that's okay. But yeah, started out with the red carpet. I think that was Sunday night, I believe, and
Right.
that's where all the players get all dutied up and with their families, and they walk down the red carpet. Probably, there's a New York Mets has a shortstop named, what's his name? Lindor. He has a clothing line, so he's always dressed to the nines. So, yeah. So they bring him down the red carpet, and the fans can see him all dressed up in their new clothes and stuff, and meet their wives and things like that. So that's always cool. And then of course, so Monday night they had the home run derby, and a lot of big stars kind of didn't want to participate because history shows that once they get in the home run derby, they go in a slump afterwards.
Right.
So yeah, so the polar bear, Pete Alonso, he didn't participate, and then there was a couple other guys that didn't participate. But overall, the home run derby was okay, and who won it was a switch hitter catcher from Seattle, Cal Raleigh.
Right.
He's been around for a couple years now. He's like a third year player, maybe 2 year player, but he's a switch hitter, catches, and I think he's leading the league now or close to it in the American League on home runs. So he won it, and it was kind of neat because he has the most power left-handed. So he hit, I don't know, 12 or 14 home runs left-handed, and then he switched over to the right-handed side. He hit a few over there, and then at the last round, so he could win, he went over to the left-hand side. Okay, so he had some monster shots, and some other players did too. So that was pretty good.
Yeah. And there was some controversy, or there was some controversy with regards to uh, the ABS system. Are you familiar
Yeah,
with that system?
yeah, I was going to
What's
talk
it? Can you
about
give us
that.
a little bit of explanation as to what that is? I know that it's been
Yeah,
used in the minor leagues. What's that all about?
it's a robot. Well, it's not really it's not a Optimus Prime. It's not Optimus like Elon Musk has got, but it's automated. It is called the ABS system, automatic balls and strikes, and it's been used several years in the minors, and I think it's been used for a few spring training games. But this is the first time it's been used in a live MLB game.
Pretty cool.
And it so what happens is that the pitcher throws a ball, and then it can tell if it's a ball or a strike. So it takes the controversy away from the umpire, with managers and the people on the in the dugouts. So I think that we'll probably this year when they meet for their winter meetings in December at some fancy hotel, whoever that might be, I think that's going to be one of the rule changes. I think they're going to put the ABS in.
Now, the decision to use it is initiated by the pitcher. Am I
No, it's initiated by MLB. What happens?
right?
All the owners at the winter meetings, the owners vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay, and if it passes, well, then they initiate it. It's
Okay.
just like the pitch count. You can only have so many seconds before you have to throw the ball. And the
Right.
same thing with the bases being the pizza size now instead of the smaller size. Okay, and it's supposed to, the whole thing is, baseball's a slow game, and it picks up the game because there's always an argument between the managers and the players and the umpires. So this takes it away. Now there's still going to be umpires there.
Okay.
Okay, but
So they're not going to get rid of the empires.
no, they're not going to get rid of the umpires. No, the union would never let them do it. The umpire union would never let them do it. Okay, so this this speeds up the game because the managers go out there and they waste 5 or 10 minutes arguing before they get thrown out, and then there's a lot of animosity between the umpires and the players. I mean, I know the Cardinal manager Ali Marmo. There's him and CB Buckner. They don't get CB Buckner's an umpire. They don't get along very well. At least I don't think they even speak to each other. But that might have changed. But you know and so it just speeds up the game, and you get a better takes all the controversy away from balls and strikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's okay. But you know, as a baseball fan, I like going to baseball games when there is controversy. Okay, I like the umpire, the fans getting on the umpires. Okay,
Right.
or and they the managers come out and they argue and all that, and they get thrown out and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of neat. That's a controversy. I mean, people pay for that stuff.
Right.
And whenever it's every once in a while there's a fight, and hell, they're not going to hurt each other, but they that's always good to see too.
Yeah.
So, but I guess maybe they're getting a little too scientific on this. Maybe I don't know, but well, it should speed up the game
Yeah.
because I've seen many times that the managers they in the dugout and they yell at them at the umpires or the batters gets mad, throws down his bat, gets an argument with the umpire, that delays the game, and now they've got for years they've had the little rectangle, you know, drawn on your TV screen, but at home plate, right? And then you can just go to the MLB app and it'll tell you how many balls and strikes there is, and you can see on TV, if it's a ball or a strike. So most of the time the umpires get it right, but there are times when they get it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think overall it's probably a good thing, I guess. But I do kind of like the arguments every once in a while, though.
Right. So it should
It
eliminate the arguments.
should eliminate the arguments, but I think for the most part it's going to speed the game up. Let's hope so, anyway.
Yeah.
You know, the instant replays are not in baseball is not so instant because there's only certain plays that you can't call a replay on balls and strikes.
Right.
Okay, that's not one of them. But if a guy's safe or out at first, you can call a replay on that. The only trouble is that when they call it, it goes to MLB headquarters in New York City, and they have other umpires there. They have a whole line of monitors with all the different angles, and it takes a while. If say those umpires are busy with another game, okay, it takes some time to get back. So you got that delay
Right.
sometimes. Okay, and teams lose momentum, I
Right.
think, when they had those delays. So
Right. That's until artificial intelligence and grok takes over.
there you go. Well, now starting at first base, it'd be Optimus.
Optimus,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Optimus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you want to play a game? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to play a game?
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
Thermonuclear war.
Yeah. You go back to look at that. That was movie was made back in the 80s, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
man,
Yeah.
it's a lot different,
Lot different.
lot different in computers. But getting into some of the game is that Paul Skeen, the young phenom from Pittsburgh, he was electric. He was a starting pitcher for the National League. He played good, and I didn't know. Pittsburgh's got a shortstop named O'Neill Cruz. He's
Yeah.
yeah, he's a shortstop. He's 6'7". You imagine a shortstop being 6'7"?
Wow. Yeah.
God, when I played back in my day, as they say, a shortstop and a second baseman was little wiry guys. That it was like Pee Wee Herman. They were the littlest guys on the baseball field.
Right.
Okay, and
Those giants.
now they're giants. 6'7" is yeah.
That's almost.
So
That's almost Rigney uh, uh, scale.
yeah, I saw him mowing his grass 2 days ago. We were on the
Yeah.
bikes. We went by. Hey George, how you doing?
Yeah.
He was there trying to make those roads straight. You know how old men and they're on their lawnmowers try to keep those lawnmower rolls straight.
He's got to get one of those robotic lawnmowers that does it for him. You know.
Yeah, he's too cheap for that. He'll never get that done. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's going
Um,
on? What's going
but
on? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, to talk a little bit about the game, you know, uh, they tied at the end of the ninth inning. Okay,
Correct.
and
6-6.
6-6, and they ran out of players.
Yeah.
This is very common in All Star because the managers they like getting all their. For one thing, the managers do not want to use a player too long,
Right.
especially if his player is pitching. So there was a lot of Dodgers on the National League team. So you know, their manager, they want to make sure that they just made an appearance and get him out of there.
Right.
And so he went through all his players, and so that and this happened. This happens just about every All Star game. They put a player in. He gets his swings and then he's out or whatever. And there's been some All Star games called to that because I think 1995 or 19, one of those years they called because they wasn't any players, so they forfeited the game. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and
You think there'd be
so
rules to not allow them to leave, right?
yeah, over the years there's been a lot of controversy about that, and so this is the first year they've enacted this rule. It's called tiebreaker, right? So what they do is they get three players from each league, and they get three swings. They get three swings each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and whoever hits the most home runs wins the game. Okay. So
Right.
in this particular case, there was um, L.A. hitters was Brent Rooker, Randy around. Let's see if I can pronounce it right. Randy Arozarena, an ex-Cardinal. Cardinals gave him a coffee break about 5 years ago, and they didn't like him, so they cut him. So now he's a superstar. Okay, Jonathan Aranda in the National League had Kyle Stowers, Kyle Schwarber, Phillies, and the polar bear Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
So they get up there and they take, and I thought this was kind of interesting. the batting practice pitcher, I mean, they pitcher throws at them, and then they get three swings only, and it's how many home runs they hit in three swings. So Cal, when Kyle Schwarber came up, he hit three home runs, won the game for the National League.
Yeah.
So everybody
Were
got to go home.
Were you surprised that the National League pulled off the win?
Yeah, historically, the American League has won. God, they won just about every game since I was a kid.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Well, the American League, they've always been kind of a power league anyway. I mean, you can go back to the days of Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle, but Harmon Killebrew and all these players, and the National League have always been kind of you know, hit and run type deal. I mean, there's been some power people in the National League, Barry Bonds and guys like that, but for the most part, there's been a lot of power in the American League. But and I think that, to tell you the truth, I don't think the National League cared if they won the game or not. Some of those, and so, Kyle Schwarber, he got a what? Oh, the going back to the home run derby, Cal Raleigh got $1 million out of that deal.
oh wow,
Yeah, and here's a guy that's only making about 600,000 a year
oh
because
wow.
he's not. Yeah, he hasn't been in the majors long enough to get the big money yet.
Yeah,
Not till free agency.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, so it was. Yeah, Schwarber hit those home. I mean, no, he's definitely a home run hitter. No
yeah,
question about that. Yeah.
yeah. I definitely was hoping that there would not be a tie. I was really hoping not. Then when I saw 6-6, I was like, oh no. You know, so
Well, there's been games. I mean, you can go back in antiquity, and you can go back to the games with Stan Musial and Ted Williams and those guys, and they played 14, 15 innings.
wow,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Musial won an All Star game in 1949 or 1950. I have to look, but he won All Star game. He hit the home run in the ninth inning, or in the
yeah.
14th, bottom of the 15th inning. Yeah.
Now you've been to professional games before. Do you stay for all the innings, or did you do what I used to do when I used to go to the Astros? If that, if it was going to take far too long, we kind of, uh, you know, uh, started getting out of the Astrodome so we could get the hell out of there because in Houston it was really bad trying to get in and out. So then we'd pick up the rest of the game on AM radio back in those days. AM
Yeah.
radio, believe it or not.
AM radio. Yeah.
I don't even think
Saint.
AM radio exists anymore.
No,
But
it still does. The Cardinals have a station. It's like at one time it was like 1,000 watt. I mean, you could listen. It's called KMOX
mm-hmm.
out of St. Louis, and it was like 1,000 watt radio, and you could listen. You could listen to all over the United States. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I can tell you when I lived in California, I would pick. We lived up in the desert up there, and I could pick up the games. Very very hard. Okay, out in Lancaster, California, and lots of times I would drive out. I get in the car, and I would drive out in the Mojave Desert out there to see if I could pick up some games.
Wow.
Okay, and early in the morning, really early morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, you could hear KMOX radio on your, just very faintly,
Yeah.
but you could get it. And I can remember when I was in the army in 1976, I would sit out in the parking lot and listen to the Cardinal games on KMOX radio in Fort Hood, Texas.
Oh
So that's a
wow.
pretty good range. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a pretty good range. Yeah, it was the most powerful station in the United States at one time. And now they have an FM, but they still have the AM, St. Louis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And Glenn Beck is on AM.
Oh really?
Yeah, all the right wing talk show hosts are on AM still.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna get rid of AM radio.
No, it's still out there.
Yeah.
Unless Mr. Trump decides to make some money and sell the bandwidth somewhere.
Right.
He's selling everything else, so you might as well do that, I guess. Any way to make a buck, you know,
Yeah.
and for the United States. But yeah, and so the highlights I saw on YouTube was very good. I think it was a pretty good game. Um, our lone cardinal, Brandon Donovan.
I
Okay,
saw him. I saw him.
yeah, he got two hits. That's the first time a Cardinal got two hits in an All Star game since Albert Pujols when he
Yeah.
played like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in looking back at it, some of those players on there, like Milwaukee, they had a pitcher on there, and he's only started 5 games in his entire pro career, 5 games, and he got selected at the last minute for the All Star game. Now, is that right? I don't think so,
Why do you
but
think that was done?
I think well they had somebody could make it, and I think what happened is that or somebody got hurt, they couldn't make it, or the rotation, and pitchers are rotation wise, and so maybe the pitcher they wanted to select pitched Sunday, and so he couldn't pitch in the All Star game, whatever. But they picked him up. But I personally think Sonny Gray for the Cardinals should have made it. Okay, but then also too, I don't think he wanted to go. A lot of players these days are not going to All Star games.
Yeah.
You know, I think Arenado, and I think Arenado, our third baseman, should have made it. Okay, because defensively he was man. I've seen some plays this year I've never seen before that he's done, but he got hurt. They call it a shoulder impingement, so he's
Right.
resting. So he's had 2 weeks now. He's gonna have a whole week off to get treatment, and a lot of players just like spending time with their families.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
they
I
don't
know
need
that.
they don't need the money because they used to pay him back in the day when they wasn't making any money. Well, hell,
Right.
now they're making plenty of money, so they don't need it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
one of the things I know that there's obviously a break, but what's what has been going on with your Redbirds since the last time we were on?
Well, we had a kind of a we had two pitchers the last time we talked. Miles Mikolas and Eric Fetty, and Fetty been bounced around. I don't know, like 7 games in a row. I don't know. They've knocked him out in the first or second inning for 7 games in a row, and everybody, including me, I thought they'd take him out of the rotation, and he may be on the trading block. I don't know. And he started a game on, I think, Saturday, and he did pretty good. He went 5 innings and only didn't allow any runs and pitched pretty good. So I think he's kind of been, they maybe he's worked through his issues. So they're happy about that. And then Miles Michaelis, okay, he pitched, I think it was Friday night, and he pitched very, very well for Friday night. And he seems to be back on track. Because, I mean, Sonny Gray is the only pitcher that we've really got that has been very consistent. And, the deal was that they was only, on Thursday or Wednesday night, he only pitched 5 innings, but he shut out innings. They yanked him out because they wanted to get him 2 starts before the All Star break. So he pitched Sunday, but that kind of went crazy because there was a rain delay on Sunday, and with Atlanta and St. Louis, and it was like a 4 hour. He started the game, pitched a couple innings, did okay, and then there's a rain delay, and the rain delay lasted like 4 hours. So the game didn't resume till like 7 o'clock that night. It was a day game, started at 1. Got rain started coming down, and they had to play the game. And they got the game in about 7 o'clock that night, and they played till about 9. So that plan kind of went crazy. But you know, um, Arenado's been hurt. That's kind of a big hit. But they've been playing a rookie named Sagasi that I don't know if he's going to make it in the majors or not. He seems to be okay. He can run and he can field, but he's no Nolan Arenado. We got Ivan Herrera back, our catcher. He's a DH catcher, and he'll probably be DH the rest of the year. And he had a hamstring pull or hamstring. Well, he didn't pull it. He just had a hamstring injury, and he was on the shelf for about a month. But he's back. Jordan Walker, he's still with the Springfield Cardinals. Okay, he's got some issues. And, we wanted to get up to Corpus Christi to see him play because the Springfield Cardinals were down in Corpus Christi last week, but didn't quite make it, you know.
Right.
She had some events, and that kind of stuff, and then so, we're hanging in there. Now, his question is, are we going to be buyers or are we going to be sellers at the trade deadline? I don't
Yeah, I
think we're
believe
going
there
to.
was some draft picks, right?
Yeah, the other, see, was it Monday? Yeah.
I think it was
Monday they had the Monday was the draft picks, yeah. And we
okay.
picked up they go for like 50 rounds, okay?
Right.
And of course so the big one was an Albert Pujols was a draft pick. He was picked like 102nd in the draft pick, if you can
Yeah.
believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look
Yeah.
what happened. And look what happened. But we picked up a kid named Leon Doyle. Um, Overall, the draft picks is just like football. Whatever you finished the
Right.
year before, right?
Right.
And he's a pitcher from Tennessee, and they say he's kind of like a psychopath on the mound, a lot of energy, and um, you know, not as bad as the Bird was back in the 70s. You remember the Bird? Fidrich. They used to pitch for the Tigers.
Right.
Do you remember him? Mark
Not
Fidrich.
no.
They called him. His nickname was the Bird, and he'd get out there and he was all over that mound. He was, making ant hills and all just kind of crazy stuff. The fans loved it. Well, you can't do that now with the pitch count, right? But
Right.
but you know he's not that crazy. But I guess he put it this way: he pitches with a lot of energy,
Yeah.
and so they drafted him. He was a number. He was a number one pick, number five overall. He's from Tennessee, college in Tennessee. Um, you know, 6 foot two, I think, 215 pounds. So he's got good size. And he can hit 100 miles an hour, and he has a variety of pitches: curveball, fastball, breaking ball, a sweeper, and slider, stuff like that. And then so it looks like, he may be a good one. The Cardinals are going to have to pitchers, so that's what so our number two pick, second round, he was second round pick, number 55 overall, 56, I'm sorry, was an outfielder, a guy named Ryan Mitchell, and he's from Houston.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, he's from Houston. And there's a third round pick. See, the third pick was Jack Gurnovich, and he was third round, 89 pick overall, and he's a first baseman from the University of San Diego.
Yeah.
So that's the top three. I mean, they have many rounds. So
Right.
yeah,
Well.
but I think it's interesting to note that there's a old Colorado Rocky that got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. Okay, and had a lot of good years with the Cardinals. Matt Holliday, and his son now, his oldest son, is playing for um, Baltimore. He's second baseman. He was like
Oh
the
wow.
first round draft pick. Yeah, and now his other son was a first round. He got picked on the first. I think he was the second or third guy chosen overall, and the Colorado Rockies picked him. So he picked they, and Matt Holliday originally got picked by Colorado Rocky.
Oh
I think
wow.
his name is Heathen,
Heathen.
something like that. Heathen, yeah, something like that. Good ball player. That's the whole Matt Holliday's family. His brother is a head baseball coach at I think University of Oklahoma, and their father was too, and that whole family is nothing but baseball. He's
Wow.
got two sons. Yeah, two sons. And it would be, one son in the major. You got, Matt maybe might qualify someday for a Hall of Famer. And then you got, Jackson to play second base for Baltimore. He seems to be a young phenom. And now we got this other guy. So in a couple of years, he may be up in the majors too.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
definitely on the Astros side, they're still first in their division. They've got 56 wins and 40 losses, but since playing the Dodgers and sweeping them, they've kind of lost quite a few games since then. And the question that we've asked is, have they lost their mojo? You and I talked about them losing their mojo, and it appears we've gotten to that point. They played the Guardians, and the Guardians beat them 75 during the first game, and then they lost badly the second game, 10-6, and then they lost again to the Guardians 4-2, and then they played the Rangers, and they lost to the Rangers 7-3, and then they did beat the Rangers during the second game 5-4, but they lost back to the Rangers on their final game 5-1. So it kind of makes you wonder whether they've lost their mojo or not. Keep in mind they've got lots of injuries too, right? So
So what seems to be the problem with the pitching? It looks like the pitching to me because the
yeah,
hitting, they're scoring runs, 4 or 5 runs a game or more,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So are they
And they
so what place are they in?
the Astros,
Yeah.
they're still in first for
Okay, so
sure,
they're definitely going to be buyers probably.
probably.
So
And of course, yeah, and
they're
of
going to go out
course,
and see can they can help them if they can pick up a pitcher somewhere to help them out.
right. Well, they had some draft picks, obviously. In the first round, they got Javier Nayans, third baseman. He's a high schooler, by the way. I was surprised at how many high schoolers actually joined.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but these guys, they don't even look like high school students, right? I don't know what kind of milk they drank, but some of these guys are.
Big
They look
guys.
old. They look older than you and I. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and in the
That's
third
it.
round,
That was always a joke about the Dominican Republic. Okay. Because,
yeah,
you heard the story on that, right? The kids down there, they said, well, I'm only 15 years old. Well, in essence, because if they got to be 18 or 19, the pros wouldn't look at them.
right,
So they say, well, how old are you? And they go, oh, I'm 14, 15 years old.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. They thought that
yeah,
about Albert Pujols for a long time, that he lied about his age. There was a big scandal in the Dominican Republic down there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the third round, they picked a guy out of LSU, outfielder Ethan Frey. He was 95th overall. And then in the fourth round, they picked a guy out of Southern Mississippi, Nick Monasteri, infielder. Fifth round, they ended up with Nick Potter from Wichita State, 156th overall.
Good baseball program there.
Yeah. And then in the sixth round, they picked Gable Pentecost, pitcher, out of Taylor University, 186th overall. And then they picked another high schooler in the seventh round, Jace Mitchell, center, 216th overall.
Okay.
Eighth round, Kyle Walker, second baseman out of Arizona State, 146th overall. Ninth round, they picked Keelan Oakes, pitcher out of Oregon State, 276th overall. 10th round, Zach Dade, shortstop, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, wherever the hell that is. I assume
It's
it's
in
in California.
California. Yeah, it's California.
306. The
Very expensive school, by the way.
Is it a private school or what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Justin Thomas, outfielder out of Arkansas, 336 in the 11th round. Elijah Farley, another high schooler. Now that kid looked a little young. 336th overall. Aubrey Smith out of UNC. Wilmington, that's North Carolina, 396 in the 13th round. Josh Wakefield, outfielder, Grand Canyon University. I didn't even know they had a baseball team, Grand Canyon. 426th overall. They're really popular with higher end degrees, by the way, that university. A lot of people that have gotten masters and doctorates out of that place.
Where?
Grand Canyon University. It's a private.
Yeah, it good baseball program. They play a lot of baseball there.
Yeah.
That's where the Major League Fall League is at on that out there in the area. That's
Okay.
where all the rookies play.
Yeah. So in the 15th round, they got DJ Newman out of Bowling Green. 16th, Chase Call out of the University of California, Irvine. 17th, Grayson Saunier, pitcher out of Texas. And then another high schooler, 18th round, Landon Arroyos, shortstop. 19th round, another high schooler, looks kind of young, Joey McLaughlin out of Hara High School. And the 20th round, out of the University of Portland, Curtis Ebert, 606th overall.
So going back to that guy from Wichita State, is that Wichita State in Texas? Do you know, or is that in Wichita, Kansas?
I think it's in Wichita, Kansas. Is there a Wichita, Texas?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. You know.
yeah, Wichita. Yeah, that's up by what's the name of that town up there? It's on the Oklahoma border. They had the hotter than hell bike race up there on my birthday every year. It's 100 miles. I've been up there twice.
Yeah.
Wichita, yeah.
And of
They
course,
actually they
yeah,
actually have a cycling team too.
yeah. And of course, we talked about the injuries, and there's quite a lot of them. Obviously,
Always is.
Jeremy Pena, shortstop, he's got a fractured rib. So
Okay.
he's expected to return after the All Star break. And then Jordan Alvarez, he's got a right hand fracture. God knows when he's going to be back. Spencer Arrighetti, broken right thumb. He's expected to return back in August. And then Christian Javier, Tommy John surgery. Right?
Oh, he's out for 16 months.
Yep. And then you've got Jake Myers, torn right shoulder capsule. So
He
you've
won't
got
be back anytime soon.
And then Jacob Melton, right ankle sprain. They don't know when he's coming back. Luis Garcia, another one getting Tommy John surgery.
16 months.
Luis, yep. Luis Guillorme, right hamstring strain, unannounced when he'll be back. Pedro Leon, a grade 1 MCL strain. He's expected to return this month. We'll see. Ronel Blanco, torn ulnar collateral ligament in the right elbow. Ain't going to come back until next year. Hayden Waneski, same thing, won't be back till next year. And of course, the next games are this Friday. They're playing the Mariners, and that's at 9 p.m. And then they play a Saturday game and a Sunday game in the afternoon.
Yeah, we play Arizona this weekend on
Yep.
Friday.
So
Hmm.
that's where they're at.
Yeah.
And of course,
Our injury list is not too bad right now. We've got Newt large Newt bar out with a intercostal spring, whatever the heck that is. Okay. And Jordan Walker's on a rehab assignment. He's trying to get his hitting back, and how convenient. And then we got Arnott. Arnott will be back after the All Star break.
right.
Zach Thomas hasn't pitched all year, so that's no big deal there. So we're fairly healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the Astros are riddled with injuries, right? So All right. And of course, we'll go over the overall standings. The American League East, Toronto's
Oh,
ahead with,
Toronto's in first. Wow, Toronto.
yep, New York's
Since
dropped to number two.
since Vlad got that new contract, they really got good all of a sudden.
Yeah, so we may not see a Subway World Series after all, you know. And of course, Boston's in third, right?
They fired their manager. I think they didn't. They fire their manager. No, no. They fired their general manager.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Tampa
yeah.
Bay and Baltimore at the bottom of that division.
Wow, it's Baltimore. That is a shock on Baltimore this year.
Yep.
They're just having a
And
bad year.
and then of course in the AL Central, Detroit, 59 wins,
Yeah,
38 losses. And of course, the Minnesota Twins are right behind them.
maybe
And then,
we'll be seeing those in August in
yep.
Minneapolis. Yeah,
So are you going up to Minneapolis?
yeah. Last week in August,
Ah, okay. You're flying or you're driving?
we'll drive and take the bikes like we did last year.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that'll be fun. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Get to go out to the ball game. And then in third is Kansas City, and of course Cleveland is fourth, and the White Sox are at the bottom of the barrel there.
What can you say?
You know. And then in the American League West, you've got Houston still ahead, followed by Seattle. Texas is third, and then the Athletics and the Angels are at the bottom. So
Texas can still get. I mean, they can catch. They can make them. They can make the playoffs.
yeah, I mean they're not too far apart from each other, between
No,
the three teams,
no, not
you
really.
know. So, and then in the National League East, Phillies ahead. The New York Mets have fallen to second place.
Well, they're only half game out.
Yeah, you know. And then you've got, I believe that's Miami
It
in
is.
third, and then you've got Atlanta fourth, followed by the Washington Nationals. So
Yeah, they fired their. They fired. They will put it this way: they didn't fire him. They didn't pick up their general manager and their manager both had contracts that was going in this year. They didn't pick them up.
yeah,
And the general manager had been there for years. Matter of fact, he was the one that when they won the world championship back in 2019, he
yeah,
was the one that engineered that. He's very well thought of in baseball. I think his name is Rico.
yeah.
Mike Rico, I think his name is.
And then in the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs. They are 57 wins, 38 losses. And of course,
They
Milwaukee
seem
is
to
a
have a good
game.
team.
Yeah, Milwaukee's not, they're just a game behind them. And then your Cards. Your Cards are in number three.
Fighting for a playoff slot. I think we've got, unless they decide to be sellers, you know, I think
Yeah,
um, I think we've got a good chance.
yep. And then followed by Cincinnati and Pittsburgh at the bottom. And of course, in the National League West, the LA Dodgers are first,
Yeah,
followed by the San Diego Padres. San
hanging in
Francisco is
there.
San Francisco is, you know, fighting at San Diego.
Yeah,
And then of course you've got is that Arizona? Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
Arizona.
Arizona. They're way back. They're
Yeah.
pretty much they'll be sellers now. Arizona will be.
And of course, the Rockies. The Rockies are at the bottom. Probably
They
the
don't have
worst team in
any.
baseball.
Yeah, they don't have anything to sell. They really don't have any players. Or they've
Right.
sold them all the last few years. Um, Arizona. I mean, I thought they'd be better than that, but San Francisco. I think Buster Posey as a general manager is doing a pretty good job. I mean, the kid is only like the general manager is only like 32 or 33 years old, but
Yeah.
he was a catcher. I mean, he was a one hell of a good catcher till injuries forced him to retire.
Right.
And he's a general manager, so I think they're making a go for it.
Yeah.
I think any team that is more than 6 games out, they're going to be sellers. And they're going to be, if buyers are going to be teams that are 6 games or less in
Yeah.
from first place because they're going to go after that last playoff spot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then once they get in the playoffs, anything can happen.
So, what's your expectations for the second half for the Cards?
Well, once we get everybody back, I think when we get Arenado back and all that, I think we'll be okay. I've seen some changes in the Cardinals. We've got, there's a player on there that he hits a lot of home runs, but he also strikes out. And everybody kind of thought that he was going to be a superstar and all that, but he, he last year he struck out 150 times, and he's starting to come together now. He's not striking. He's only striking out twice a game or 3 times a game instead of 4 times a game. But he is actually hitting the ball. But I think Brandon Donovan, he's still going to continue. Um, I think Victor Scott, our center fielder, he's a rookie. The word got out on him that he could hit and he could run. He's the fastest guy in baseball. And the word got out that he was only a fastball hitter
Yeah.
and he was hitting the heck out of fastballs. So it got around, the book got out, and so they decided to pitch him nothing but breaking stuff. And that's the reason why he was getting hit back on his heel, on his left hand heel. He's a left-handed batter, so it'd be the left foot. He was getting hit in the left foot all the time because they would pitch him low, breaking balls inside. Okay, well he's adjusted. It looks like he's adjusted now, so I think he's going to come back strong.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think Burleson, his nickname is Biscuit. I mean, he's just hitting the daylights out of the ball. Burleson is a very, and he did last year, and I think he's going to take that right field slot away from Jordan Walker. And of course, so then Donovan, he plays second base, and then Wilson Contreras, he's starting to hit now too, and he's playing first base, and so always before when he was catching every day, he would get hurt. Okay. And he'd be out for a month or two. Well, this year they put him on first base and he hasn't been hurt as much. Maybe he's lost maybe a couple games, nothing much. Catching wise, I mean, we seem to be okay. Paez and there's this interesting story. We have a catcher name. His name is Pozo, and he was invited to come to spring training this year because everybody else cut him, and he didn't have a place to live, didn't have any money. Him and his wife and their little baby, infant baby, they during spring training they lived in his car
Oh wow.
at spring training. Yeah, so he made the roster, and he started out the season in Memphis, and then when Herrera went down the first time, they brought him up as a backup catcher, and he's done very well.
Yeah.
Done very well. Yeah, you look at him, he doesn't look like a baseball player. He's short and he's stubby. He's kind of fat. Okay, but he makes good contact with the ball, and he calls a good game behind the plate.
Right.
Okay, so I think he's going to be good. And Pius seems to be improving a little bit. And then we right now we have a luxury of one, two, three, um, four catchers.
Yeah.
And that's unusual.
Yeah.
Because Herrera can catch. Wilson Contreras was a catcher for 8 years, and we got Pius and we got Pozo. So we could use some pitching. I think our closer Ryan Helsley is kind of having an off year. He's been banged around a little bit in the bottom of the ninth as a closer, but I think he's going to eventually right himself if they don't trade him away. and because he's on his walk year on his contract, and they're going to try to get something for him. We need that other starter, though. We got Sonny Gray, which has been, he's just been great. And Palente has been okay. Andre Palente, he's pitched okay. But we need that third and fourth starter. And, well, we have Libitar. Uh, he's a young kid. He's been pitching pretty decent for the most part. But then we really need that fourth starter or fifth starter, and hopefully Miles Michaelis will rise to the occasion. But I look for the Cardinals to make a deal for Eric Fetty somewhere.
Hmm.
They're either going to just give him an outright release, or either that, or they're going to try to trade him to somebody at
Yeah.
the deadline.
Yeah.
So
All
we
right.
we got a chance. I mean, I don't think Milwaukee's got that much talent, to tell you the truth.
Hmm.
And um, yeah, I don't think Milwaukee's got that much talent. And the Cubs, I've only seen the Cubs for a weekend, but the Cubs look pretty darn good.
Yeah.
You know,
Even though
and
somebody who's a Cubs fan was telling me that they're kind of worried because they said their schedule is tough. I don't know who they're
could
facing.
be
You know.
they must play a lot. The second half of the season, they must play a lot of games away from Wrigley Field.
Probably. Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they like playing in Wrigley Field because the wind blows out and their ball club is kind of set up to for home runs. Okay, so
Right.
and they got good ball players on that. Pete Crow Armstrong. You know, PCA they call him. Um, he's a rising superstar in the league,
Yeah.
and they got other players there too, so they're having career years. So their first baseman's I don't know where in the hell they got. I think he's bounced around from team to team, but he's having a career year. Their first baseman.
Yeah.
So Cubs are good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never thought I'd
All
hear me say that.
right. All righty. Well, we've gone on for about an hour. We actually did the show via Studio A this week. I didn't want to deal with the mosquitoes like I did last week. So maybe next week, if they spray, the city sprays for mosquitoes, we may go back to Studio B and enjoy some of that nice South Texas hot weather, Doug. I know you
That
love.
I hope they spray the mean streets of Rancho Viejo too here pretty soon. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
the streets are pretty
They're
mean out here.
they're
And
not mosquitoes. They're locusts at this point.
out
Biblical
there,
size
biblical,
locusts.
yeah, biblical, epic portrait, biblical. You know, we're waiting
Yeah,
for the all the grasshoppers come out of the cotton fields out here or something.
that's right. We
Well,
kind of feel like
we're not raising cotton this year.
no, no. We kind of don't want to feel like the Pharaoh did back when Moses popped him with a ton of insects. So
Insects, yeah, yeah, but it's mosquitoes are not too bad riding a bike really because you got the wind, you know,
right.
and the wind blows them off and everything. It's not so bad. But once you get done, when I get in the garage, okay, I'm changing my shoes and stuff. You can feel them at night come in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
All righty,
yeah.
everybody. Well, that was it for this week. Uh, Episode number 5 of Doug's Dugout. We'll be back next week. And stay tuned for tomorrow. We've got another episode number 5, also for the Spin Zone, but for season 3. So be sure to tune into that. And nothing yet with regards to Starship. I know that they're busy working on the OLM, retrofitting it for another static fire.
When's
So
that new factory? When's that liquid oxygen factory supposed to come online?
I'm not really sure. I think it's 2026, but they just
Okay.
got the approval, and so we'll see how that goes.
I see that the Indian tribe out there already filed a lawsuit against them, I guess.
Yeah, they never quit.
All
As
three
long
of
as
them. All three of them.
yeah, all three of them, right?
All three of them, that Indian tribe. Yeah.
Fake Indian tribe. Fake Indian tribe. Let's not forget they're fake. Right? They're not even registered. So
Well, I'm surprised they haven't put a casino out there.
no, they can't. They don't own the land. They were in
Oh,
Rain.
okay.
They were across the border in Reynosa, but they claim that somehow their ancestors are buried at Boca Chica. So
Oh, okay. His
they're not
ancestors.
recognized. They're not recognized by the U.S. government as a tribe. But
So their ancestors try to come and cross. They cross the Rio. John Wayne would say the Rio Grande, and they died on the beaches.
pretty
Okay,
much, and that
pretty
made them
much.
ancestral burial grounds.
Oh, okay.
You know,
It's well,
you
that's
know they
good.
they were the they were the old they were part of the group that Doris and Dave hung around with. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah, I saw. I thought I saw them at a. They were picking up. ICE was picking up some people. There. I thought I saw Dave out there throwing gas canisters at the ice. Picking them up and throwing them at them.
Oh gosh, I wouldn't put it past them. So
You know. But he's
uh,
pretty old by now, though. I mean, I don't know if he could move that fast.
I don't know. Not really sure, but
But it just. But hey, I haven't heard much. I've been following the robo taxis up in Austin a little bit, and it was a big deal when they first came out. But I haven't heard any more. Have you heard any more about it?
haven't heard any more. Haven't heard any more about the robo taxis. But right now,
Yeah,
the big rave is the Epstein files, or better yet, the non-existent Epstein
the
files.
non-six. They're going to come up with something. It's. There's nothing on it. It's just move on. You know,
Yeah, I think there's.
we have to do
Let
it.
me put it.
We have to
There's
do
too
it for the
many.
children now.
I mean, there's too many Republicans and Democrats that were probably in the files. That's why everybody wants to throw it under the rug. You know,
Yeah,
out of
Biden.
sight, out of mind.
Poor old Joe. He didn't. He had 4 years to do, and he didn't do anything about it.
Yeah,
You know,
probably.
he didn't have time. He was coming out parents at the teachers meetings, right? Yeah, and locking away people that the at the abortion clinics, the right to right to life or something.
Right, right. So,
Yeah, but poor old Joe.
yeah,
That's another thing.
yeah.
Wow. Everybody in America knew that he was, I mean, they make this big deal. Everybody knew that he was past his prime. He lost his curveball. Okay. He lost his fastball. Okay.
Right.
And you know, and they just, but I haven't heard what happened. The work husband testified in Congress today. I wonder how that, I haven't heard anything about that today.
I haven't heard anything either. Yeah,
There's a guy
haven't heard.
named John Burnell. It's supposed to be Dr. Jill's work husband.
Ah,
He knew everything. He was one
oh,
doing the he was doing one doing the auto pin.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the infamous auto pin.
The infamous auto pin. And, I don't know if he's going to take the fifth. He'll probably take the fifth.
Probably.
Yeah, it's just like his doctor.
All righty, Doug. Well, that's
Okay.
it for this week. We'll see you next week. Hope you have a great weekend. Go out there and hit the road with the bike. Do some swimming.
Yep.
Enjoy this great South Texas weather. I know you like it.
Oh, I love South Texas weather, man. It's just so great. I I put a thermometer out on my garage out there, right? And I go out there and today I went out there, it was 97 degrees inside the garage.
Yep. Yep.
It
It's
was like three
definitely
o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I mean, went out there when I get ready to ride my bike, it's like 94 degrees in the garage.
yep. It's hotter than hell. That's for sure.
That was a hell of a race. I did it twice. Hotter than hell, man. That up there, Wichita Falls. That's the name of the place, Wichita Falls. Okay,
Okay.
and it is hotter than hell. That race is hotter than hell. It is. I did it twice.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a long day on a bike, 100 miles.
yeah, I bet it is. I bet.
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty, Doug. Well, we'll see you next week. Have a great evening.
Okay, Danny, you take care. So long, everybody.
So long, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye bye.
Bye.